Hello everyone. So, been a long time since I've gotten anything out to you all. This video here, I'm going to wrap up everything with Lake Woodruff. First time hunting out there. Learned a lot about the area. And there's some nice deer out there. I'll show you those. Also, going to make another video about Ocala. Had an interesting experience out there while hunting. And in the past, 6-9 months, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers. And I said I'd put a video out about how mark your trails secretly, kind of in plain sight. Mark your honey holes in plain sight. So I'm going to have to try and work on that video for you. I've gotten over 500 subscribers now, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to be working on all that. Today I just really want to, like I said, go back. I'm going to talk about Lake Woodruff. It's a nice area. First thing about the place is, well, there's some nice deer out there. So I had a camera up. This one here was just set on pictures. I had it over actually a very large scrape that got a fair amount of activity. See, there's really nice, big, tall 8, possible 10 pointer there, some tall tines on them, and some other small bucks also visiting the scrape as well. I didn't set up really close right on this scrape. It was really out at the front edges, and I knew there'd probably be other hunters out there. So I actually worked in a little deeper, trying to get into more of the daylight areas. This was something on my camera. Everything was nighttime movement, so I felt like I was still just, not deep enough into their core areas and just catching them when they had worked their way out to more open areas. Okay, so this is where I decided to set up here. What's nice about the tree I happened to find is there was a smaller tree right out in front in which I was able to put my second camera arm on. So that made it kind of convenient. And that second camera, it's pointed to, that brown area. That's kind of my ambush spot right there. There's 2 deer trails, one kind of coming in from my, behind my left shoulder, and another one working its way across from left to right, right to left in front of the camera there. And this is just inside the tree line of the cypress swamp. So out in front where it's kind of foggy, you see the lighter area, that's just a palmetto field with some scattered scrub oaks standing in it in that. So my thought was during daylight hours, they're going to keep, a little bit, safer cover of the tree line. And I'm going to shut up here in this video and let you hear. I've done a past video about turkeys and using a turkey call during deer hunting. And you're going to be able to hear this turkey that's just putting around me while I was out there. So you weren't allowed to take a turkey during archery out here at Lake Woodruff. So that's why I'm not really standing up prepared for it. I was just kind of hoping maybe it'd creep out and I could catch it on video. Everything was pretty uneventful that first weekend. I left my camera out right over that ambush spot and got a few deer coming through there, but once again, everything was at night. The only daytime picture I got in this spot was just this one doe. I did have a nice 8-point, not as big as the other one, come through once again just at evening time, and so that kind of gave me an idea of what was going on, but still just little puzzling that everything is a nighttime activity out there. During the week there was a time where we got a whole bunch of rain later in the week, and I was really hoping that would get things clear out that weather pattern and the deer would be a little more active. But when I went out Friday mid-morning to go, sit in my stand for the rest of the day, I was going to do a long day sit. I came out to find that it was like knee-deep in water. So at this point, it was like deer aren't going to be going through there. The scrapes that were in that little, tree line area, they're not going to be visiting those scrapes. So I went out and started to, check out some of the other areas that I had looked at that possibly were just going to be, better off for higher ground areas and not so much water. And I came across this spot here. What I really was looking for is, being that it had only been like, 18, 24 hours since the rain stopped, wherever I found the highest concentration of deer tracks in an area, that's where I was going to set up. So it was this spot here, which wasn't really crazy about, but it did, it was kind of close to the road access. I didn't think, there'd be that many large bucks through there, but you could still also take a doe. Well, I'm going to have to admit that I literally got caught sitting on my butt, because all of a sudden, the next morning, this doe just comes, tiptoeing out at a good pace right out in front of me. I barely had time to really get my camera turned on. She was already halfway across in front. I stood up, as fast and slow as I could, and picked up my bow and trying to make an attempt to get a draw on her before she worked her way all the way across in front of me. I'm going to rewind this, and if you look right in this little window here, you're going to see how much movement I actually was. You can see my shadow, my arm reaching out for my bow and just picking it up, and then you'll see the tip of the arrow come across. She never ever saw me, and I think it was because the sun was directly behind me from her vantage point, so it was just too bright for her to pick me up. Even after she came around, she walked right down behind my right shoulder here, still just like no clue that I was there. So never picked me up, just never stopped to give me a shot at her. Well, for the 2 weekends I was out there to hunt, I really didn't get to see much action. I had the 2 does the one evening, the one that came across in the front. Added some excitement, but really not a lot for as long as I was sitting out there. There just seems to be something about, the first weekend there was that stationary front. That weather pattern just does not seem to, be conducive for good deer movement. I talked about this in one of the earlier videos for 2019 Tiger Bay, where just nobody was seeing any daytime movement of deer. They're out there picking them up on my cameras, but it's only really at night. So this is, always something a little more to figure out, see how the weather plays into it, and, try again. It'll probably take, a year or two to get preference points up to get a permit for this place, but, the first time out, I don't think, it did too bad. Found some good deer, just need to be able to see them. Till next time.